Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. You may be seated.
I control it over here if you need it. I can control it, or if you want me to leave it on, when you need it to mute it, you can press that button there. It's up to you.
Good afternoon. This is the September 14th convening of the City of Sylvester Municipal Court. There are some things that I would like to inform you about the court, the jurisdiction of the court, some options that you have available, and some things that you can expect for tonight. We try to move as expeditiously as possible. I know your time is important. The City of Sylvester Municipal Court has jurisdiction over traffic violations, city ordinances, misdemeanors, and some high and aggravated misdemeanors. The maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 to 12 months in jail. Occasionally, you might hear of a fine that exceeds that amount, but that wouldn't include one of those high and aggravated misdemeanors, or maybe it's a second offender of a misdemeanor offense. As with any other court in the state of Georgia or in the United States, this court affords you with certain constitutional rights. I'll go over those rights now, and I'll refer back to those rights as you resolve your case. You have the right to be presumed innocent. The burden of proof is on the City of Sylvester to prove that you did in fact commit the alleged offense, and that burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a high standard. You have the right to testify on your own behalf. And if you choose not to testify, the court cannot hold that against you. You also have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, there's some paperwork that you can fill out, and if you meet the qualifications, an attorney will be appointed to you. In some instances, you have the right to a jury trial. The City of Sylvester Municipal Court does not hold jury trials, and therefore, if you plead not guilty and you opt for a jury trial, then your case will be transferred to the Worth County State Court. The other option for you if you plead not guilty is a bench trial, and that is a trial by which you'll come back to this court and your case will be heard before a single judge. Tonight is arraignment for a lot of you, most of you I suspect. Arraignment simply means that you'll be formally made aware of the charges against you, and you'll be able to enter a plea. There are 3 plea options available to you tonight, and I know a lot of you have already spoken to the solicitor. The first one is a plea of guilty. That just simply means that I did it. We can resolve your case tonight. The second plea is a plea of no contest or nolo contendere. That is not a guilty plea. That simply means that you do not wish to contest the charge. And if you use that plea, you might be afforded some legal benefits, i.e. points not going against your license or your license not being suspended. But of course, we go over that individually on a case-by-case basis. And then the third plea is a plea of not guilty. And if you plead not guilty, then you'll be given a date by which to come back for your bench trial. With that being stated, I'll turn it over to the solicitor. Oh, he's already. Okay. Yeah, come on up. You got a new photocopy? Yes.
I've got it muted.
Joyce, ready?
Ready.
If the judge can't hear you, you may have to stand up. Ms. Reddy, you're charged with improper, use of a central, turn lane. And how do you wish to plead? Well, I don't want you to guess. I want you to, you heard the three, options that you have. Have you spoken to the solicitor? Okay,
Judge, based off of the line of history of facts, the case I'm bringing in all across the district, we just support it as well.
okay. Okay, you have that written down. I see now how this works. Okay. Are you a Sylvester citizen, Ms. Reddy? Okay, based on the solicitor's recommendation, I'm going to null pros this case. That simply means that your case is dismissed. He stated that he did so because of your driving history. And I take it that you're not a frequent flyer of the City of Sylvester Municipal Court. All right, well then you're free to go. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Folks, we're going to ask, what you guys, please speak to this more out here. We're trying to keep folks from causing over each other.
Okay, hold on. Ronnie Monroe? Mr. Monroe, you're charged with the unlawful use of a wireless device. You've had the opportunity to speak to the solicitor. This is your first offense. Have you installed anything in your vehicle? Most vehicles come with Bluetooth now. Do you have anything installed? Okay, we show that to the solicitor.
Yeah, I told him, I told him, I said, I wasn't on the phone. I said, I had my headset on. And like I told him, I had my headset in 2019. You know, so I've been using hands-free for all the years that's the truck that I was required.
Okay, you're a truck driver?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, the solicitor has recommended that I null cross this case. That simply means that he's recommended a dismissal of it. And so your charge is dismissed. Try to be as careful as you can in terms of talking or driving or doing anything that distracts you while you're driving, okay? You're free to go.
Sure.
You're free to go. Raquel Thomas.
You don't have to sit down, buddy. You can just stand under the mic if you want to.
Mr. Thomas, you're charged with speeding, driving while license suspended. Are these two separate incidents? Same incident? What's the status of your license now?
You guys, I ain't know my license. I got stopped.
Do you know why they're suspended now?
Yeah, now I know.
Okay. And you know how to, go ahead.
I spoke to him, indicated losing his license back in 60 days. Is that right? Yeah. Pretty sure you get back in 60 days, right? Based off that, I'm recommending, you need to allow 60 days to reinstate, with the license on person.
And guilty plea to the speeding ticket?
Yes, sir.
All right, the fine for the speeding ticket is $175. Do you have that tonight? You do? and you're gonna get a notice to come back to court, what is it, September, October the 12th. Have your license by that date. But that's not 60. November the 9th.
Also, I gave both of my license to the officer.
Well, your license are suspended, correct? So, I mean, you don't have a license anyway, right? So get your license reinstated through child support. They'll reinstate it, then you go back and get a new license. Bring that license to court with you on November the 9th. Mhm. They're gonna give you a notice, before you leave. At the same place that you pay, your ticket there directly. Okay. Bruce Jackson. Let's make one. Mr. Jackson, you were charged with operating a vehicle with improper decal. Say that again.
No, they have a small trailer, it wasn't a vehicle.
Oh, it wasn't a vehicle, it was a trailer.
They had a small trailer.
Okay. And you've spoken to the solicitor?
Yes, sir. Trailer there.
Mm-hmm. Hold on 1 minute. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you speak.
Okay, well, the trailer I had at the bar, and I just knew, tag that fell off fell out bar before. So, when I got stopped, I told the officer that, I called, I told the officer that the trailer, the tag fell off the trailer. That he did that. So, I mean, that was, the solicitor told me to bring a copy of the actual tag and everything that goes on the trailer that I did, so.
Okay. So the solicitor has agreed to allow you to plead to a reduced charge, improper decal. I'm gonna ask you some questions, answer them for me out loud, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding what's going on right now? You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead to that reduced charge? You understand that by pleading, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court, the lawyer and all that kind of stuff?
Sir?
You don't have a right to a trial or a lawyer if we resolve this case tonight. You understand that?
Yes.
And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You work?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna find you. Now let me just tell you this. Whenever you take possession or control of someone else's vehicle, trailer, or what have you, you take it as is and it makes you responsible for whatever condition that is. You understand that now?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Okay. Your fine amount is gonna be $75. You have that tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Once you pay that, your case will be resolved.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mason Fowler. Mason, you're charged with laying drag. You spoken to the solicitor? And he's recommended that you be entered into a pretrial intervention program. Did he explain that to you?
Yeah, I believe it's just a college, 13 kids, 18 years old. You're in high school, still, senior? Based off that, and the tax schedule recommending official intervention.
Any recommendation as to the terms of that pretrial, or
Normally on something like this, Judge, we would recommend you write a paper.
what grade are you in, Mason? What grade? How do you grades look? A's and B's and C's? 1 and 2 D's? No D's? Okay. What you plan to do after high school? What do you plan to do after high school? Okay. I'm gonna place you on a pretrial intervention. That means that if you do what the court is about to tell you to do, this case will be dismissed and it won't stay on your record, okay? Based on your driving history, I want you to complete a defensive driving course and pay a fine amount of $200. Once you complete that course, show the certificate to the probation officer and pay the $200, your case will be dismissed. You got any questions? Did you bring a parent here with you tonight? Who's with you? Is he in here?
His father's outside.
Okay.
Would you like to get him?
No, I just, anytime I'm dealing with a minor, I always just like
He's
to,
18.
oh, you're 18?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, nowadays, that's still.
Yeah.
You still ask dad for money, right? All right, you'll see probation, you're not on probation. Pretrial is not probation, but it looks like probation a little bit. So you'll see the probation officer. Once you see her, you'll be free to go, okay? Y'all- But, what's her name? Miss Jennifer, Miss Probation Officer. On his pretrial, you might have already written it on there, but it terminates when he completes. Shakira Alford. Ms. Alford, you're charged with speeding, and you've spoken to the solicitor, is that correct?
Yes.
And you're gonna plead guilty to going 49 and 35? Yes?
Like I told him,
Hold on 1 second, let me get you on the, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so you got? I'm gonna ask you some questions, you answer for me out loud, yes or no, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol? You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to enter a plea to the reduced speed of 49 and 35? You understand that by entering that plea, you waive all the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of the court? And are you a U.S. citizen? Okay. I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily entered and that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Now, you wanted to tell the court something?
just let me know that
I was just saying, I do apologize, I didn't realize anything. This was trying to get home to someone who wasn't feeling well, but, I don't get into any trouble or anything, I just don't like February, so I don't get the habit of doing things that I didn't belong.
Well, with the reduction, this won't appear on your record, and I'm sure the solicitor already, informed you of that, correct? Okay. Do you work?
Yes.
The final amount is $274. Do you have that tonight?
No.
And you have it by, this would be October, the October date that you gave me. October the 12th?
I'm also in school, so is there nothing?
Well, actually, I can place you, on probation. That gives you 12 months to pay the ticket. There will be probation fees for the first 3 months. They'll explain the terms and conditions, of that to you, and then it gives you 12 months to pay the ticket.
What is probation? What would that?
It's just, on a speeding ticket, it's just a method by which it gives you more time to pay. The probation will be terminated upon your payment, which means that if you should happen to come across $274 Friday or next week, you could pay it off and you'll be off probation.
Would there be any times or anything being on probation, like?
There are additional fines, for the first 3 months, and then after that, there are no additional fines.
Another option is to pay by October 12th.
That's 30, what's today, the 14th? I'll give you to October the 25th. Can you do it by then? I don't want to put a financial hardship on you, that's why we use probation.
Okay, I can do October 25th.
Okay. You'll get a summons to come back to court on October 25th?
I have to come back. Here?
No. If you pay before October 25th, you don't have to come back to court.
Okay.
But that's the way that the court keeps ties. We stay connected until the case is resolved.
Okay.
Okay. If you pay by October 25th, you don't have to come back to court. Your case is resolved the moment that you pay the ticket.
Okay.
Now, I'm talking to you, but I'm really talking to everybody in the room, just in case I have to do this to someone else. If you decide, and I know you're not gonna do this, but if you decide not to pay, then a warrant could be issued for your arrest. Your license could be suspended, which means that you could be out driving someplace and get pulled over and not know that your license is suspended. So it's always best to, if you say you're gonna pay it by, the 25th, pay it by that date so that you don't come into those other consequences of not paying. Okay. All right, they'll give you a notice for that 25th court date. Shannon Daniel. You're charged with a unlawful use of a wireless device?
Yes.
Okay. And what's that? Is that a box?
It's my new wireless device holder.
No, okay. And you showed that to the solicitor, I take it?
Well, he recommended it. so-
Okay, all right. With that being, brought to the court's attention and upon the solicitor's recommendation, I'm gonna null cross this case, which simply means that your case is dismissed. You get that luxury on the first offense,
Thank you.
so take it out of the box and use it, okay?
I will, yes.
All right, okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Rhonda Salter. Wanda Salter. Ms. Salter, you're charged with no brake lights, and working turn signals and driving with a suspended tag. You've had the opportunity to speak to the solicitor, and you've agreed to plead guilty to defective equipment and improper decal. Is that correct? Did you want to speak on that?
That's the big one.
Okay. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so you got?
I do.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you some questions, answer them for me out loud, yes or no, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No,
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
no,
You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
yes,
Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead guilty to these lesser offenses?
no,
And you understand that by pleading, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court?
yes,
And are you a U.S. citizen?
yes,
I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily entered, Ms. Salter, that you understand the nature and consequences of your plea. Okay. Do you work?
disabled,
Disabled?
yes,
This your first time in court?
yes,
I only ask those questions so that I can make sure that the sentence fits your circumstances, okay?
yes,
On the defective equipment charge, I sentenced you to a fine amount of $85.
yes,
Hmm,
yes.
may you speak? Yes, ma'am.
I didn't even know the tail light was out until he stopped me, and it's been fixed.
Or has been?
Yes, sir. And on the decal, I've renewed my tag for 5 years since I lived here every year, paid in for 10 years, so I don't know what's happening with that.
She showed me a picture of the detail
Yes,
on her car 2021.
Okay. I'm gonna take that into consideration on the improper decal. The fine amount is gonna be $100, which brings your total fine to $185. Do you have that tonight?
yeah,
You have that tonight?
yeah.
Okay, upon payment of that, then your case is resolved. Improper decal.
Yeah, what the original fines on that?
The original fine for the suspended tag is $600.
Last week, the tag has been renewed, I mean, it's up to date, I mean, why would it be suspended?
That's why I used to have the property. Used to have the detail on it and also brought the
It's
fines.
always been on here.
Are you stating that your tag was valid on the date that you were stopped?
Yes, sir.
You get something, you get something.
I'll go to the tag office, I mean,
Something, you get a letter from the Department of Motor Vehicles.
I understand, but that's something different.
That your tag was, the registration was valid at the time of stop.
I can do
Think you can?
that. Yes,
Yeah, based off that, I have no problem, she was continuous.
I'll allow you to withdraw your plea,
yes, sir.
and we'll set you up for another court date. Now, let me reiterate, Ms. Salter, the solicitor offered you a pretty good deal. By withdrawing that, I'm not sure I'll be on the bench when you come back, so,
I understand.
Yeah, can she have a home stick with both?
sure. Mhm. Mhm. Jacoby Smith. You charged with, the unlawful use of a wireless device. You've spoken to the solicitor? And have you incorporated anything in your vehicle? Does your vehicle have Bluetooth or you, okay, all right. On the recommendation of the solicitor, I'm gonna null cross your case. That means it's dismissed. You get afforded that luxury on the first offense. So as I told the young lady before, you, start using that so that you don't have your phone anywhere near your hands, okay? All right, you're free to go. Raquel Jossie, and I will allow you to correct me once you get up here.
Yes, sir. It's Rachel Josie, sir.
Rachel Josie.
Yes, sir.
That was my first impression, but I tried to put a little. Ms. Josie, you're charged with speeding. You've spoken to the solicitor and you're gonna plead guilty to the reduced speed of 49 and 35.
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that testimony you're about to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask you some questions, answer them for me out loud, yes or no. Are you now under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
No, sir.
You understand that by entering this plea, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of the court?
Yes, sir.
You understand that the maximum sentence that this could incur would be a fine of $1,000, 12 months in jail?
Yes, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to enter into that agreement with the solicitor?
No, sir.
And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna find that your plea is voluntarily entered, that you understand the nature and consequences of your plea. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence?
No, sir. Other than the fact that I usually don't speak, but I was in a hurry. Well, I'm in a hurry. I had to go, I'm in drug court, so I was going to take drug tests in Tifton, and then I go to school in Albany, so. And I was right there in between the 35, right there before you get to the 45 sign, so. I just couldn't keep myself in the boat whenever I got to work.
Or do you work?
No, sir, I'm in school full time,
Where do you go to school?
Albany Tech,
What you taking up?
horticulture science.
All right, I guess the solicitor made you aware that, by agreeing to the speed reduction, this won't go on your driving history.
Yes, sir.
The fine amount is $175. Do you have that tonight?
Yes, sir.
Upon payment of that fine, your case is resolved.
Thank you, sir.
What's his name? All I can do is come ticket. Ricky Owens. Mr. Owens, you were charged with unlawful use of a wireless device. You've spoken to the solicitor?
Yes,
And from my understanding, whatever it is, you've taken remedies to address.
yes, I got Bluetooth system number three.
Okay. On the advice of the solicitor, I'm gonna null cross your case, which means that it's dismissed. You get that luxury on the first offense, however, on the second offense, there is a fine associated with it.
Sir,
All right, you're free to go.
thank you, sir.
Roberta Brown. Ms. Brown, you charged with speeding, and you spoke to the solicitor. You're gonna plead guilty to the reduced speed of 49 and a 35? Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I'm ask you some questions, you answer them for me out loud, yes or no, okay? Are you now under the influence of drugs or alcohol? You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is found of $1,000 or 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead to 49 and 35? You understand that by pleading, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of the court? And are you a U.S. citizen? Okay. I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily in it, but you understand the nature and consequences of your plea. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court?
I apologize. I work at the hospital, so I was trying to rush you to get some for patients and come back.
Okay.
I apologize.
The fine amount is $175. You have that tonight, Miss? You don't?
No, sir.
Can you have it by October the 9th?
Yes, sir.
I don't want to put a financial hardship on you. Okay, all right. If you pay it by October the 9th, then your case is resolved. You don't have to come back to court on October the 9th. But if you can't pay it by October the 9th, then come back to court on October the 9th, and at that point, you'll either be placed on probation or some other alternative means. Okay? Is that the 9th? Yeah, is that the 9th that I'm dealing with? Is that the 13th? I'll give you 3 extra days, October the 12th. But the rules still stay the same. If you pay it before that day, you don't have to come back to court. You a Sylvester resident? You live in Albany? Okay. 49 and 35. Yeah, I'm just getting the heater. Kathleen Reed. Kathleen Reed.
He called Kathleen Reed.
You gonna let him steal your identity? All right, you're charged with unlawful use of a wireless device. You had opportunity to speak to the solicitor.
Yes,
You've shown him that you have some type of remedy so that you can operate your vehicle with a hands-free.
yes,
Okay. And upon the recommendation of the solicitor, then I'm gonna now process your case and you're free to go.
I had a second.
You got a second ticket?
Yes, sir.
Am I aware of it?
Yeah, she actually has 2 cases.
Yeah, it's just a second.
Oh, it's on 2 separate, okay. How do you plead on the safety belt violation?
Guilty.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
No.
You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
Yes.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead guilty to the seatbelt charge?
No.
You understand that by pleading guilty, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court?
Yes.
Now you're a U.S. citizen.
Yes.
The seatbelt violation is $15. Do you have that tonight?
Yes, sir.
Upon payment of that, now all of your cases are resolved.
Thank you.
Okay. Natalie Embry. Emby. Is it Embry? Natalie, you was originally charged with failure to stop at a stop sign, but you've spoken to the solicitor. You're gonna plead guilty to too fast for conditions, is that correct? Raise your right hand for me. You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so you got it? Okay. I'm gonna ask you these questions, answer them for me, yes or no. Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol? You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead guilty to the reduced charge? You understand that by pleading guilty to that charge, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court? And are you a U.S. citizen? I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily entered, that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court? How old are you? 19. Are you in school? You graduated? You work?
Yes, sir, I'm on short-term disability.
Okay. All right, Natalie, the fine amount is $195. Do you have that tonight?
No, sir.
You live in Sylvester?
No.
You don't?
I live in New Jersey.
I see.
Okay.
Can you have it by October the 12th?
Yes.
You heard my conversation with the young lady before you, what happened is that,
I can get it tomorrow.
well, I don't usually offer advice, but my advice always is to get the court system out of the way, because if you go on and start living your life every day and then you forget.
Can I get a call?
Oh, no, I mean, I'm not telling you to get it right now. I'm just saying it's always best to go ahead and take care of it, because it leaves, when it leaves the front of your mind, it goes to the back of your mind, and it'll be December and you'll
Yeah,
forget.
I just got put on short-term disability, so I ain't been working for 2 weeks, I'll start working on next week.
Okay, well, as long as you have it paid by that date, you're fine. All right, you're free. They'll give you the paperwork you need, and then you're free to go. Emily Castleberry. Ms. Castleberry, you were charged with unlawful use of a wireless device. Have you spoken to the solicitor?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
17.
17? Is this your first offense?
No, sir.
We-
Based off her age, facts of the case, history, I'm recommending a pre-population on her. She also get a history license, she's 17.
Okay.
Again, if the court looks at.
Mhm.
Paper or something, that was the recommendation.
What grade are you in?
12th grade,
12? Where you go to school?
Worth County High School,
What kind? What your grades look like?
A's and B's.
A's and B's. Where you gonna go after you finish?
Tech school, gotta stay at home with my mom.
Go to where?
Gotta stay at home with my mom.
Okay. Well, the court is the pre-trial is, I'm gonna tell you to complete a task. And once you complete the task, this case will be dismissed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what I want you to do is to write at the minimum, it can be double spaced if you type, that's what everybody does now, right?
Yes, sir.
A paper dealing with the dangers of distracted driving,
Yes, sir.
the dangers of distracted driving. And probably, if I know Judge Weaver well enough, he'll have you to come back and read that paper to him,
Yes, sir.
okay? What, does he have a certain set date or? Free trial. Okay, so you can anticipate coming back within 30 days.
Yes, sir.
You have a date for that, or October the 12th? Yeah, you'll get a summons to come back. Presley Ellis. Ms. Ellis, you're charged with unlawful use of a wireless device. You've had the opportunity to speak to the solicitor, and you've shown the solicitor that you've done something to remedy that situation.
Yes, sir.
What you got right there in your hand? I, on the advice of the solicitor, on the non-process or dismiss your charge, you're free to go. Rachel Rigsby. Ms. Rigsby, you charged initially with running a red light. You've had the opportunity to speak to the solicitor, and you're gonna plead guilty to 2 fast foot conditions. Is that correct? Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth that you got? I'm gonna ask you some questions. Answer them for me out loud, yes or no, okay? Are you now under the influence of drugs or alcohol? You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to accept that plea agreement with the solicitor? And are you a United States citizen? I'm gonna find your plea is voluntarily entered, Ms. Rigsby, and that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence?
It wasn't a red light, it was green light, green light, and I was coming from like in that neighborhood, and I was in the intersection, and it was a green light turning yellow, and I passed the line turning green, and a big truck came out and looked at me, and I was behind me, and I just slowed down and turned yellow, but it turned red light.
Okay. Well, how old are you?
Not
19? Do you still wish to plead to the 2 fast foot conditions after consulting with the solicitor, or do you wish to have a trial on that? So you want to still plead to the 2 fast foot conditions? Okay. Are you, do you work?
yes,
You go to school? Okay.
I graduated.
The fine amount is $195. Do you have that tonight?
Yes,
Okay. And upon paying that fine, your case will be resolved.
thank you.
Emmanuel Garcia. Mr. Garcia, you were initially charged with obscured or missing license plate,
Yes, sir.
but you've spoken to the solicitor and you're gonna plead guilty to improper decal. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth that you got? Okay. I'm gonna ask you these questions. Please answer them for me out loud, yes or no. Are you now under the influence of drugs or alcohol? You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead guilty to this reduced charge? You understand that by pleading guilty to that reduced charge, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of the court? You know, you're a United States citizen. I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily entered, that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. I'm gonna accept the solicitor's recommendation to the reduced charge. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court?
Yes, sir. I work at Maximum Cargo, that trailer was mine. I was pulling out, and as soon as I was done pulling out, I got stopped. But it looks like the problem has been taken care of.
Okay. Now, let me get this correct. You work at Maximum Cargo,
Yes, sir.
and what kind of business is that?
Cargo trailer?
They build them.
Y'all building?
Yes, sir.
And so what you doing, pulling out one of the things y'all just built?
No, sir, I was, on the way to go get prepared. Still.
Okay, so you're about to drive it on the road?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna accept the reduced charge, the improper decal. The fine amount is 107. Do you have that tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Upon payment of that fine, your case is resolved.
Thank you.
Tony Parker. How you doing, Mr. Parker? I'm all right. You charged with the original charge with driving on suspended tag and failure to stop at a yield sign, stop for a yield sign. You've spoken to the solicitor,
Yes.
and you've agreed to plead to the reduced charge of improper decal and guilty to the stop sign violation.
Yes.
Raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm that testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so you got?
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you these questions. I know you've heard them. Is this your second time in court, correct?
Yes.
So this is the end of the 30 days when you were supposed to have this paid.
Well, when I came, my daughter and my grade had mama, so I told them to leave, so they scheduled me to come back.
Okay. Do you have the money tonight?
No.
When they rescheduled you, did you have the money?
No.
All right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place you on 12 months probation. I'm gonna allow probation to terminate upon payment of the fine. You work?
Yes.
Why haven't you been able to take care of this?
Well, after I had been going back and forth to the doctor myself, so I had been sick, so I was trying to get everything situated myself. So I really didn't have the money at that time.
Okay. When you I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but when you enter into this agreement to pay it within 30 days, did you at that point think that you could pay it within 30 days?
No, because he had told me if I had any problem to call, but I never did get a chance to get back in contact with him.
Okay. All right, well, there'll be terms and conditions to the probation. Probation officer will let you know what they are, and probation will terminate upon payment of the fine.
Okay.
So you have 12 months to pay. What is it, $350 plus $195? I'm not a mathematician, but I'm gonna say that that's $545. He reduced it to improper detail. It was done at the last. You got anything else? Okay. They'll,
But I've called, there's only 2 people. I've called both of them.
yeah.
No answer. So I'm trying again, but if they don't answer, yeah.
Miss McGriff. Pronounce your first name for me. You were charged with expired driver's license, but you've spoken to the solicitor and you're gonna plead guilty to no license on person? You're not gonna plead? Well, the original charge was not whether or not you had your license on you or not. The original charge was that your license was. So would you like to,
I got my license on me, but my license will never expire.
that's what I'm saying. You wanna speak on that, Mr. Solicitor?
You know, it's a right in life without any further information, there's nothing else I can do with the case. I don't have anything to show that it wasn't expired at the time.
Right, they said it was like, it was something in the system when I went to the DMV, because I even went to the DMV about it too.
Are you able to get a letter from the Department of Motor Vehicles to show that it was their error that showed?
No, but I got a picture of my old license that say my license expired in
Doesn't matter,
2024.
because licenses, folks can leave the state and get licenses in other states.
I ain't never
So
did it.
I know, but it expired for a reason, that's what I'm saying.
Mr.
Get a
Florida?
letter from them showing that it was their fault, it was messed up. It may be something that I can discuss out without that, or I can introduce them to no license on person, which I think is at a $15 fine, Ron.
It's $10.
$10 fine, it's $10 fine, and you don't pay points on the license or anything.
I will let you know.
Where are you from?
Florida,
What part?
or mine.
Did you drive here to take care of it?
No, I had to stay in Albany with my mom to,
Okay. What was the second stop?
Now, this is one just on the back, it's somebody else.
Okay, thanks.
Just put it on the back instead.
Well, you, since July, that's when you got stopped, right? You've gone to the Florida Department of Driver Services and checked on the status of your license? And so you're sure right now that your license are valid?
yeah, I can show you my license now.
Well, that's what the solicitor was trying to tell you, that it's kind of like how people used to do insurance. They would go and buy insurance and they would get the insurance card, and then they wouldn't make the payment the next month and the insurance would be canceled, but they still got the card.
Yeah, see, this was like, it's just a lot of confusion with me, it's a lot of inconvenience, because I had my license, I don't know why I said expired, and my license had expired, my original license 24, expired 2024 on my birthday. But when I went to the DMV and I told them like what was going on, they said that they don't know exactly what's going on, but they'll provide me with like another license.
That's what they did?
Right, they just gave me another copy of the license, now it's expired the 29th, for 2029.
Okay. But do you have the $10 on you?
Yeah, I can pay it, you know.
All right, you pay the $10, your case is resolved. Are you going back to Fort Myers, or are you gonna stick around here for a little while?
No, I gotta go back.
I'm from Vero. Yep. All right, you pay that $10, you're free to go. Randolph Thornton. Randolph Thornton.
He hadn't been brought in. I think he just arrived.
Is he in the, okay,
I think he's still
Yeah,
outside,
that's the
sir.
last one that Mr. Crowe.
Yeah.
okay, we can,
Yeah, put him on the bottom of the stack.
uh-huh.
I'll put it in the back, use the last one.
Oh, that was the one that you handed.
Yes, sir. Sure, just put that in the back, use the last one. Get your-
Davian Green. Mr. Green. Mr. Green, you charge a fee to stop at a stop sign and fee to yield when entering a roadway. You spoken to the solicitor? You have? Yeah, the young man that's standing right here, you spoken to him? Huh?
I have spoken.
Did he tell you what he was gonna do, that he was gonna, dismiss the failure to stop at a stop sign and you were gonna plead guilty to the failure to yield? Does that ring bells?
I'm not sure if he really that how much.
Okay. That's Jay to come. Yeah, he's probably outside, isn't he?
He's right there.
Where? Oh. Yeah, get yourself down. I told him, sweetie. Right there, see you. He's so good. You tired, yeah. I'm gonna call the solicitor, we gonna hash it out. Mr. Crowe, when you get an opportunity.
Yes, sir.
This is Mr. Davian Green. I see what you have on there. I recited it to him. He said that you all did talk, but he can't recall what you all spoke about, so.
You want to not go through this in trial? Work?
You should.
From my understanding, what I read, the top one was voided. Is that what's written on there?
Yeah,
Voided?
that's not my handwriting, I was here, was another particular position. This is one that you talked to me about, Nolo, that just recently played, was that right? It's Nolo. All right, so you just want to plead guilty to this charge, or you want to have a trial? That's up to the judge. The judge just says, I don't know what to this.
Oh, okay, I mean. Now, I would want to try out, so I gotta do.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's try it.
The 27th of September.
We all make sure we got the other drivers subpoenaed on that case. Is there another car involved? There was another car involved?
All right, they'll give you a court date. You get a summons before you leave on when to come back. Let me tell you, if you have any witnesses, any evidence, anything like that, that's the date that you want to bring them with you, okay? All right. Hold on, they're gonna give you, a summons. Leslie Roberts. You charged with unlawful use of a wireless device. I guess by the looks of the bag, you've shown the solicitor your efforts to remedy it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, based off the statute, exception to it, I'm moving all the processes this first time.
And the court will agree with you.
Mine's also in my truck now. I had one already, and I have a trailer too. I just bought this one because it's got the receipt, but I ain't got the receipt for the other one. So I was just reaching in my pocket the other day, placed it back on my dash, and that is against the law, and I know now, I'm aware of it.
Okay, well, this one is not gonna count against you,
I appreciate it.
and so it's dismissed, and you're free to go.
Good to go.
All right,
Y'all have a good day.
all right.
Safe.
Misty Schmidt. Ms. Schmidt, you charged with failure to stop at a stop sign. How do you plead to that? No law? You did what? You've already taken it? Give me a moment, okay? Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions. You answer for me out loud, yes or no, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol? You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You gotta say it out loud for me.
No.
You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
Yes, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead no law? You understand that by pleading, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court?
Yes, sir.
And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily entered, Ms. Smith, that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Now, you were telling me something. Go ahead and finish that. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was saying I took on my defensive driving course.
And you have the proof of that in your hand?
I don't have it in my hand, no, I didn't print it out.
You-
I can print it out, and bring it back to you. I got no receipt on it.
No, that's fine. Is there anything that you want to tell the court about, this particular, anything that might mitigate the circumstances? Or anything that you want me to know about this stop?
I did stop at the stop sign, and I did look both ways. There was a hill, like right, maybe less than a block. And the car that was coming, there was nothing to the right, nothing to the left, and I drove across, and she came out of nowhere, so she had to be going more than the 35 miles an hour that it was.
Was there an accident?
It was an accident, my whole frame was shifted 45 degrees, and I was barely moving when I was.
You know, based off her taking this, of course, we ask that you take that into consideration when it comes to the fine.
Yes.
Well, here's the one thing, a no plea is not a guilty plea. So you're not pleading, to anything stating that I ran the stop sign, okay? And based on the fact that you did take a defensive driving course, I'm gonna fine you $100. And, do you have that today? Okay. And upon payment of that, your case is resolved. Okay? Dwayne Peavy. Call people, as I call people, new people coming. Okay, that's what.
Yeah, they are. That's why.
All right, yeah. How you doing, Ms. Peavy? You were charged with speeding and you spoke to the solicitor, and you're gonna plead guilty to going 49 and a 35, is that correct?
Yeah.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so you got?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm gonna answer these questions, you answer them for me out loud, yes or no. Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
Sir.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding what's going on right now?
Sir.
You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
Am I aware of that?
Are you aware that that's the maximum sentence that this court can impose? It doesn't mean that that's what you're gonna get, but I have to let you know that that's what you could get. Okay. Anybody promise you anything or force you to enter into that agreement with the solicitor?
No, sir.
You understand that by pleading to this reduced speed, you waive all the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court? What that basically means is that you don't get a right to a lawyer, you don't get a right to have a trial, you're taking care of it right now.
Yes, sir.
And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily entered, that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea, Mr. Peavy. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence?
Yes. Doing that, I moved here on job transfer attempt. And I moved here based on my driving license. And I drive 500 miles, 524 miles a week. I respect the law, and I understand that 45 speed limit here at Walmart, and then it came down to 35 at the shopping center, shopping center. So I respected the law, and the traffic at the time was moving faster than the speed, the sign said itself. So, traffic was ahead of me, not with me. So I was down, I was in like 45, I was down below 45 miles per hour. And as I got to the hill, the horse coming down the hill, I had my foot on the brake, I took the foot off the brake. Because it was coasting down here, and the traffic ahead of me was red, and the light turned green, and I came off the brake. And that's when the officer pulled. But based on my driver's license, my furthest infraction way back in 2018. And so it came off, that fell off August of this year, 3 years. So I've been obliging the law very closely with my driver's license. And with the transfer of my job related to my driver's license, I'm asking the courts for that. If there's a community service that I can serve, I'll be glad to do so.
Okay.
To protect why I'm here. The reason why I came here on the job transfer.
How long you here?
This year, April 10th of this year.
I didn't understand.
April 10th. I came here April 10th.
Oh, no, how long are you gonna be here?
Oh, well, I have a career job.
Okay. And you understand that by accepting this plea offer, well, he's giving you the opportunity to plead to a reduced speed, that this will not affect your driving history or your driver's license. You understand that?
I'm aware of it now.
Okay. Now, the fine amount is $175. Are you able to pay that?
Not at this moment. Because, like I say, I just transferred here. And financial stability is coming, but it's not there.
I can
So
understand
I'm
that.
part-time where I am. That's all I was asking for.
The court is gonna sentence you to 12 months probation. I'm gonna allow you to convert to find a community service. And when you complete the equivalent of the $175 in community service, probation is terminated.
Thank
What part of Florida are you from?
you. West Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach, everybody's from? Y'all call that the bottom?
That is-
And Miami is the bottom, but that's close enough.
You're getting there. You're getting out of the bottom. You're starting.
All right, you're gonna see probation. Once you see them and they sign you up, you're free to go, and they'll coordinate where you're gonna do community service and all that kind of stuff with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Leonard Polk. Mr. Polk, you've had the opportunity to speak to the solicitor,
Yes, sir.
and you were originally charged with failure to stop at a stop sign, driving without a tag, and no insurance. You've agreed to plead guilty to failure to stop at a stop sign, improper decal, and no proof of insurance. Is that your understanding?
Yes,
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions. You answer them for me out loud, yes or no, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand?
I'm saying.
Okay. You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000, 12 months in jail?
Yes, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to enter into that plea agreement that we just talked about?
No, sir.
You understand that by pleading, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of the court?
Yes,
And are you a U.S. citizen?
yes, sir.
I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily entered, and that you understand the nature and consequences of your plea. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I close sentence?
I'm just coming through the balance car from here, but I bought a car. Me and my friend James Michael, he bought a car and, we come through here, leaving, got pulled over. And, put the car, my car over behind me, because the guy told me that when we bought the car, they said insurance was good.
Okay. You say you're from here, but are you from here?
Born and raised,
Do you still, oh, you live in Albany though?
yeah.
Okay. I'm going to accept the solicitor's recommendation on the failure to stop at a stop sign. I'm going to accept your guilty plea on that. Do you work?
Disabled.
Disabled vet? What branch?
Um,
I'm sentenced to a fine amount of $195 on the stop sign violation. On the improper decal, sentenced to a fine amount of $100. Do you have insurance on the car now?
yes,
You showed it to him?
yes, sir.
And on no proof of insurance, I sent you to a fine amount of $240. That's $535. Now, I know I usually don't have $535 only, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Do you have $535?
I don't,
Okay.
I feel
All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place you on 12 months probation. And probation will terminate upon payment of that fine. Is there, now, can I ask you a question? Today is the 14th. If we pay by the first, can I waive the first month's probation? Now, if you pay this by the first, I'm gonna waive the probation fee.
okay.
So that means that you'll pay straight $535.
That's great.
If you don't, everything kicks back into normal gear.
Yes.
Okay. All right, you still see probation to sign you up and you'll work according to your plan.
That round table back.
I mean, with after that, everything kicks back. Brother Gibson. You were charged with speeding and you spoken to the solicitor. You're gonna plead guilty to 2 fast food conditions.
I came here to find out, what did I do, like, getting, filing charges if somebody used my identity.
You're saying that this wasn't you.
That's what it means, that's what it was all about, that's why I kept trying to come to court.
Okay. This your first night in court?
Yeah.
So somebody had a driver's license.
I feel like the license that was lost and one that was stolen.
You know, obviously, this is 2015 case, right, sir? He has already ended up paying the fine on it from his license right now. Based on the facts of the case, negotiate clear, I'm recommending the reduction down to, I think it's
Too fast for
two fast
conditions.
for conditions.
But he's saying that it wasn't even him.
Well, if people plead no, I don't have the issue with using his no.
But they ain't gonna want, how do I feel about it? All that, take care of it. Do the land court, whatever I gotta do, that's what I think, that's people what I think.
Oh, well, you need to seek legal advice if you're talking about identity theft.
I clear, not only this issue, it's in different areas, that's why I wanted to come to this is one of the first, so I came here. If I could, if I get information, you have to with my legal. Yep.
Go ahead.
Again, my understanding, he's already posted a cash bond on all this.
Did he put you? So this is already like. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put this down as a pre-trial for too fast for conditions. That means you've already posted a cash bond, which means that you paid the ticket, it won't go on your record, and then you can concentrate on finding out how to address whoever's going around with your identity. Okay, I don't have the answer to that, but you can ask legal counsel, someone who's more versed in that kind of law. Okay, but in terms of your dealings with the municipal court of Sylvester, your case is resolved.
All right,
Okay,
okay,
thank you, Mr. Brother.
all right, that's mine.
Vincent Myers. Mr. Myers, you charged with failure to yield when crossing a roadway. How you wish to plead to that?
No, Lord.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, I'm gonna ask you these questions. Answer them for me, yes or no. Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 and 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to enter this plea? You understand that by entering this plea, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court? And are you a United States citizen? Okay. I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily entered, Mr. Myers. That you understand the nature and the consequences of the plea. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence?
Nothing other than, that particular morning, a little hazy out. I was actually dropping my brother off at work and trying to get back to my kids at home with the quarantine for school. My wife was actually at the doctor's appointment that morning, and just, I think it was a misjudgment between myself and the other driver as well, because I was under the assumption that he was going to turn into the first driveway, and as I proceeded out, it's kind of like he just inadvertently jumped back into the lane and kind of just jumped over the front of me. So, I mean, we spoke and everything was on a good turn. And I would just ask the court maybe to reduce this sentence so that it doesn't really affect my driver's license. I'm a 6-year-old.
Well, the NOLO, if you haven't used a NOLO in the last 5 years, would not, points won't come on your license.
Right.
The effect of it on a CDL, when did you get your CDL?
back in, 2011.
I'll accept the no plea. I can't give, advice as to, the effect on the CDL based on the history that I'm looking at. The final amount is 195. You have that tonight?
Is it possible I could pay that on Friday?
Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm originally from here. I moved on to Tiffany. And also, I just moved back here.
Here's what I'm gonna do. This is my last night, madam. Probation person. I'm gonna place you on probation for 12 months. And if you pay it on Friday, it won't be a probation fee for the first month. I mean, it'll be just a fine.
So if I'm paying that, if I'm able to pay that on Friday, is the probation been terminated?
Probation is terminated. And, you know, to be transparent, the only reason that I'm putting you on probation is that I see a bunch of failure to appears, and I want the court to be able to, you know, stay in touch with you until
Right.
that's paid, okay?
Right.
So they'll sign you up, and you pay it on Friday, your case will be resolved.
All right, thank you.
Rocky. Hey, I knew you would fill in the blank for me, that's why I just stayed silent. Rocky Loubier. Whereas I was gonna mispronounce it, Loubier. Mr. Rocky, you were originally charged with driving without a tag. You talked with solicitor and you're gonna plead guilty to driving on a, improper decal. Is that correct?
I would like to ask the court to consider dismissing, with some information that I have. To
Now, you've had the opportunity to speak to the solicitor, correct? And as you've seen through the course of the night, I give everyone the opportunity to address the court. But before you start, I want to make clear that it may not end in a dismissal. So would you like to proceed?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Is there anything you'd like to add on this case?
My understanding is, you have issued the registration license, okay? He indicated he thought it was all based off of some interaction with the dealer where he bought the vehicle from, that they didn't get the paperwork in the tag office time. He doesn't have any documentation from the tag office showing that it was either done in error or done by some malfeasance from the actual dealer. Based off of that, I've made a recommendation down on the case. I'm also recommending a reduction on fine, consider it off fine, based off of what it appears that's going on here, even though we don't have any actual proof of it.
Okay. Now, did you hear what the solicitor just said? Are you in agree? I'm still going to allow you the opportunity, and I might change my mind. You might be able to convince me, but do you want to continue?
Yes.
All right. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so you got? Okay. I'm gonna ask you these questions. You answer them yes or no, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No,
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding what's going on right now? You understand that the maximum sentence this court could impose would be a fine of $1,000 and 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to enter a plea to that reduced charge? You understand that by pleading, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of the court?
I'm sorry.
You waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court. I don't know if you were in here, but that's the right to be presumed innocent, the right to an attorney, the right to a trial. You waive those rights by resolving the issue now. And are you a U.S. citizen? Okay. All right, Mr. Louvier, is there anything you'd like to tell the court?
Yes, I purchased two vehicles, on the same day. I bought a motorcycle and a car, a closed trailer. I purchased it on January 8th, of this year, January 8th. I went into the registration department, on February 5th, to register the motorcycle and the enclosed trailer. I walked out with a tag for the motorcycle, but they said they couldn't issue one for the enclosed trailer. And I didn't know why. She even told me to bring it up to the landfill and get it weighed, because she might be able to bypass the title for the trailer. It could weigh under 2,000 pounds or less. It weighed 2,600 pounds. So now my friend's thinking, well, there's a title. I have to have a title. Nobody could figure it out. I went back up and talked to them. I said, what happens if I get picked up? In the meantime, she will, that's up to the discretion of the officer. And anyway, but I think I got stopped, with no tag. Now I went in I didn't get it resolved until the 7th of September, which, 7th of, September. I didn't get the proper resolved until the 7th of this month. Went back to the DMV. They had to make a call. I said, I need this resolved. I got caught on the 14th. So they called Atlanta, and Atlanta said, since the trailer was titled, it should always be titled. But since somebody broke the chain somewhere in the past, they just said, well, let them go ahead and get it without title. So I should have been able to do the same thing on the 2nd or the 5th of February. That just got resolved on the 7th or the 10th of this month. I got the paper on the 7th, but it got resolved on the 10th of this month. And the only reason it got resolved, I was desperate. I said, I have to get this resolved. So they called Atlanta. The tag office in Leesburg called Atlanta and stayed on me quite a time to get it resolved. And it ended up, I didn't need a title to it anyways, because they just bypassed it.
So you got a title to it now?
No title, but I got a tag. So now.
But you needed a tag because it weighed 2,600 pounds.
February 5th, yes. But now, here we have today, I've got my tag, I got my insurance on it, everything's fine. And just because they called Atlanta. Atlanta said somebody broke the chain somewhere.
And who called Atlanta?
The tag office in Leesburg.
Okay, so this is in Leesburg.
And the supervisor was the lady that was helping me, because I remember she was standing up on the girl who was on the right. So she went right over to the girl and said, let's call Atlanta.
You live in Leesburg, Albany?
Yes. It's Albany, it's Leesburg, actually.
Well, let me tell you this, Mr. Pronounce the last name again? Louvier. I can get it right.
So I got the paperwork here.
I believe you. I put you under oath so that you would have to tell me the truth. That's what you're supposed to do when you're under oath. But I believe you. Then I'm gonna dismiss the charge.
Thank you, sir.
You're free to go.
Thank you very much.
I've had a similar issue in Coffee County with the trailer.
So I made the right decision.
Yeah.
Demetrius Ross. Mr. Ross, your original charges were no insurance, tag alteration, improper plates, and seatbelt violations. You've spoken to the solicitor, and he's agreed to reduce the charges to no proof of insurance, improper decal, and then the seatbelt violation. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask you some questions, answer them for me out loud, yes or no, okay?
Okay.
Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
No.
You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 for 12 months in jail?
Yes, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead to these reduced charges?
Promise.
You understand that by pleading to these charges, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court?
Yes.
And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily in it and let you understand the nature and consequences of your plea. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence? You work?
Yes, sir.
You got insurance on the vehicle now?
Yes, sir.
You show that to the solicitor?
Yes.
Okay. On the no insurance, I'm gonna reduce it to no proof of insurance. I'm gonna accept your guilty plea on that. Final amount is gonna be $240. Improper decal. That's the reduced charge. I'm gonna accept your guilty plea to that. Final amount is gonna be $150. And the seatbelt violation, the final amount is gonna be $15. That's is it 4 or 5? No, I'm wrong. Yeah, 4 or 5. The total fine is gonna be 4 or 5. Do you have that tonight?
No, sir.
I'm gonna place you on 12 months probation. I'm gonna allow probation to terminate upon payment of that fine.
Yes, sir.
It'll be of the terms and conditions to the probation. Probation officer will explain it to you. And once, that probation is paid, or once the fine is paid, probation will terminate.
Yes, sir.
Cameron Farley. Mr. Farley, you're charged with the leash law violation. You wish to plead guilty. Is that correct? No? Tell me how you wish to plead. Oh, yeah, okay. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol? You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead guilty? You understand that by pleading guilty, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court? And are you a U.S. citizen? Okay, I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily entered. Cameron, and that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence? What kind of dog do you have? Where is it now? No, so you learned your lesson on that one. How old are you?
23.
23. You work?
Yes, sir. Well,
Where you gonna get a job at? Okay. What's your start date?
next week.
You looking forward to that?
Yes, sir.
That's your first job?
No, sir.
Okay. What's the dog's name?
We call
Does it have another name?
it, no, sir.
All right, I'm gonna charge you $100.
Yes, sir.
You got that tonight?
No, sir, I can have it Friday.
Okay, you pay it by Friday, now you'll get a court date. It'll state October the 12th on the court date. Or you'll have another court date. It'll say September the 27th, but if you pay it by Friday, you'll have to come to court on that date.
Okay.
That's just a document so that we'll have you able to come back to court if you don't pay.
Yes, sir.
They'll give you your summons over there.
Okay.
Tell Chloe I said hello. Abby Miller. Miss Miller, you were originally charged with failure to stop at a stop sign. You spoke to the solicitor and you're gonna plead guilty to too fast for conditions. Is that correct? Speak up for me just a little bit so I can hear you. Hold on, before you start telling me what happened. You spoke to the solicitor, correct? And from my understanding, did you all reach an agreement? Okay. Now, you do have the right to plead not guilty and have a trial on this issue. If you say you stopped at the stop sign, then the officer, whoever wrote the ticket, will come and we can have a trial on it. Well, we wouldn't have the trial tonight anyway. So you'll get another court date to come back to plead your case on the failure to stop at a stop sign charge. Is that what you desire?
No, we're involved in the recommendation.
Okay. All right. Hey, hold on, Ms. Miller.
I can see that you're on part of that.
Yeah. On that date, on the date that they tell you to come back, if you have any witnesses, if you have any documents or anything that will help you with your case, you bring that on that court date, okay? Okay? All right. They'll give you the court date over there. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you. You can write it too.
They'll just be body cam video for them. I think it'll just be body cam video for them.
Randolph
I
Thornton.
don't have any car video. Probably not. He's in a front hood.
That's all we got, but still need that.
Mr. Thornton, you were originally charged with speeding. You spoken to the solicitor and you made a plea agreement that you're gonna plead guilty to too fast for conditions. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions. You answer yes or no for me, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand what's going on right now?
Yeah.
You understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead the too fast for conditions? You understand that by pleading, you waive all the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court?
Yes, sir.
And are you a U.S. citizen? Were you born in the U.S.? You were born in the United States?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna find your plea to be voluntarily entered, Mr. Thornton, that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court about this before I impose sentence?
Yes, sir.
How old are you, Mr. Thornton?
60.
60?
Yes.
Okay. Do you work?
Yes, sir.
Your fine amount is gonna be $126. Do you have that tonight?
Yes, sir.
Then upon payment of that fine, your case is resolved.
Sir.
When you pay that fine, this case is over.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
Nice to meet you. Robert Hill. Mr. Hill, I'm good. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Good evening.
We're in about 10 minutes, it'll all be over. Maybe. Mr. Hill, you were charged with safety belt violations, driving while license suspended, and an open container. How do you wish to plead?
Plead guilty.
Okay.
You know, for book purposes, Mr. Hill started by driving school license.
Have you been? This is third.
35, my policy decision to be 35. He did indicate that he could not use license back.
All right, Ms. Hill. Let's do the easy stuff first, and then we'll move on to the suspended license, okay? On the open container violation, you sent you to 12-month probation with a fine amount of $254. And on the seatbelt violation, I sent you to a fine amount of $15.
No.
Yes.
The legal group was obviously all across the lane charges to place the driver's suspended license.
Is that, okay. It was nothing written.
That's my fault, Your Honor.
Okay. You spoken to Mr. Crowe?
Yes, he did.
Okay,
Also spoke to
okay.
the public defender as well, Your Honor. Yeah, between us talking, I missed marking up the paperwork.
All right.
So the open container will be all across, the seatbelt will be all across, and he just pleaded to the driver's suspended license.
Right. Come on up, Mr. Public Defender. I didn't know he was represented by counsel. or-
Which I haven't been appointed, I just spoke to him briefly, but I haven't been officially appointed on.
Oh, okay.
Based on the suspended license, Your Honor, and the fact I think he's had a chance to speak to some other.
You wanna speak to him briefly?
I spoke to him outside, if he has any more questions, he'll be happy to talk to him.
Has he been, put on notice, habitual violator or anything? This is the third one. I have to get the, how long did you stay in jail? Did you go to jail?
No, they weren't putting nobody on because of the epidemic.
Okay.
And it ain't safe to be in jail.
Well, I mean, you're not acting like it because you keep driving without a license. It's like the only way to keep you from behind the wheel might be to put you there. It's kind of tempting, that's why. Because I'm scared if I let you go, you're gonna get in the car.
It's just hard to try to get around that. I had to go to the doctor that day.
What kind of open container did you have going to the doctor?
It wasn't but, it wasn't but that I had changed. But I had anything to drink.
You ever had a DUI?
Yes, sir, I have like a one of those.
No. I'm gonna give you immunity. How you get here tonight?
I walked from a brother.
No, that's the right answer. You from Sylvester?
Yes, sir.
Can you give him a sign?
Yes.
Yeah. What, I guess you pose, this is the dilemma you pose for me, Mr. Hill, is that I don't know what it'll take to keep you from driving. When's the last time you got a suspended license charge?
I'm trying to get them back, but it costs way,
2017.
it costs a pretty good bit of money to try to get them back, the way it dealing with is, and I get so secure.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm sending you to 12 months probation. With a fine amount of $800. You're not gonna be thanking me. I'm not through. I'm going to note to the probation department that if you violate this probation by driving a vehicle, I'm revoking 60 days of your probation automatically. You understand what that means? Do you really, you know what that means?
Yes, I get caught driving, right.
Now, I don't want to do that because of the pandemic,
Yes, I'm
but with the combination of alcohol, no license, and all that kind of stuff, you might put a whole bunch of other people in more danger than COVID. Okay? That's gonna be the order of the court. There'll be other terms and conditions to your probation. Probation officer will see you, and once you see her, you're free to go. Hey, you're a very nice gentleman. Stop driving.
Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Your Honor, if you'll let me see that pad I handed you.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even write anything on it. How many more we got?
Trying to call these people here.
I got 2 more.
There were a couple of folks who I don't think have paid them. They got tickets.
Okay.
I don't think we had those in that stack, maybe. What we got? Sir, tell me your name. Clinton Clussman. Pardon? Clinton Clussman.
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah, Mr. Clussman.
Come on up, Mr. Clussman.
It's my understanding, Mr. Clussman, they also have some charges pending here for the same instance. Based off of that, I don't think we can adjudicate it here today.
Okay.
Probably needs to be a transfer to Superior Court, not state court, Superior Court, based off the other charges that we're in.
I'm gonna write that on. I'll let Joe read it. Be the final other one. Same thing, just sitting in.
Just make sure it goes to, it needs to go to Superior, not state. Because if they decide to take it back down, they can get it back down.
Why did, if it's the same action trans, why didn't all of it?
I don't know, I looked through the incident report, and there's some other pending charges in there that are not misdemeanors.
Okay. Good recommendation.
They're warrant offenses.
Are you out on bond
Yes, sir.
for anything? You write that down, a recommendation that this case be transferred to Superior Court. Your address is still the same as the, what's on those tickets?
Yes, 6715 Gulch Road.
Okay. Okay. All right, as long as you got the same address where we can get in contact with you, you're free to go.
What number do y'all have? Cause I changed phone number since then. I just want to make sure the number's the same one.
What's your phone number?
229-499-1425.
299-1425?
499-1425.
499.
My apologies, may I ask me?
No, you said it correct the first time. 1425.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll make sure that it stays along with your file. You'll be notified of any court proceedings, the transfer or whatever the judge wishes to do, okay?
All right.
All right.
You have a good day.
All right, you too.
Let's go.
Dejon Evans. Mr. Evans, your case has already been adjudicated, correctly? I mean, you've been here before.
Yes, sir.
And, in 60 days, you're supposed to have your license?
Yes, sir.
You have them?
Yes, sir.
So with this, going on to no license on person, since he already picked no license on person, he's supposed to, come back in 60 days.
He's supposed to not have his license.
I was on probation with Ms. Freeman.
So he's not currently on probation?
No, sir.
You're not currently on probation?
No, sir. I paid the probation and paid my tickets off. I just had a pending ticket from July 22nd of 2020 that's sitting at the courthouse. They said that my license was suspended from January of this beginning month. But once I took my certificate of approval to the DMV, they told me that I was clear.
So that's what you had to do to get your license back?
Yes, sir. I was on probation and I had to take a driver's course online and present that to the DMV.
So have you done everything that you were supposed to do for probation?
Yes, sir.
You paid the fine with this court?
I paid the fine and I took that course.
And I don't see anything left for him to do in terms of, he just came back to court to report on the status of the license. You got your license on you?
Yes, sir.
Transfer that to state court.
You have them today.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
It doesn't matter when, as long as you got them, right? So, now do what I got to do. It's already, I'm thinking that was how we could do it.
I have a meeting saying because he's supposed to came back to court.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna put an initial on it. Okay, you're free to go.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's fine.
That's for, Clarkson,
Yes.
and that's the same on it.
Oh, gotcha.
Have you all spoken to the solicitor? Come closer up front. You.
I know that two of them, Judge, mentioned that they paid their tickets, but they wanted to see about getting points removed.
Okay. What's your name?
Their tickets were attached, and the people were
What's your name?
Lieutenant Jonathan
Last name?
Luna.
Lieutenant Luna says that the tickets were attached and some papers up there, so they're not on this docket.
When I put them in people, they told me to just put them in people. As we were going through it, the tickets were working. They were just loose tickets.
Oh, those two. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
For two of them. The other one was
Okay, your name is Washington. What's your name? Huh? Leonard Neal? Okay.
What he did was one that you said you got. But the other two was me.
Is it Andrew Washington? Neal. Neal? Yes, Jerome Osborne. Who is he? What's your name? Jerome, okay. So you looking for Neil? All right, Mr. Osborne. You were charged with, distracted driving. Tell me the circumstances of, have you been to court on this? This your first day in court?
Yes, sir. I already paid, I already paid, I was just coming here to drive professional. This seemed like having it taken off already. I'm trying to explain that they had it in the device.
Okay.
Um,
You, Is that him? No, this is Osborne. This your first, offense?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you, I'm gonna dismiss, were you in court when I went over the, all of your rights?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna get you to sign right here, stating that you heard all your rights. This is what I wrote right here, just simply means that it's gonna get dismissed.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get you to sign here, and I'm gonna sign here, okay?
Thank you.
That's, Osborne. And that's dismissed. Osborne. No. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Oh, on the book?
No.
I did everybody.
Judge, so if it's, you're dismissing it, are we gonna return the money since you paid on it?
No, it's just, with the first offense, it doesn't go in.
Thank you.
Andrew Washington. Mr. Washington, you were charged with speeding, and you paid the ticket,
Yes, sir.
and you're in court requesting what? Who wrote this in? Have you talked to the solicitor? Huh? No, that's it. You say you haven't spoken to him. You have spoken to him? So the two fast food conditions that's written on here, that's your handwriting?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I just want
We
to,
just didn't have, I didn't have another document for him, so I just wanted to make a copy of the citation.
okay. I'm gonna agree with the solicitor's recommendation. I'm gonna reduce it to two fast food conditions. You've already paid the,
And just for clarity's sake, Your Honor, I'm using that citation as the charging document.
okay.
That's why it's under documents.
I am gonna, I'm gonna change this. My handwriting gets worse as the night goes on. We'll get you to sign this. Were you in court when I went over all your rights?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You got Neil? We'll make a, note, you guys a blank. All right, so it'll go in as two fast food conditions instead of the speeding ticket.
Okay.
Okay, you're free to go.
Thank you.
All right, is it Leonard Neal? Come on up. How old are you, Mr. Neal? 20? Okay. You paid the $195 already?
I had two of them, faster conditions and,
Failure to maintain lane.
I had to pay both of them.
Okay.
Okay. And you're 20?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think. You in school?
No, sir, I graduated.
You graduated from which school you graduated from?
Worth County High School.
Okay, what you doing now?
I work at Walmart.
Here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. These your first tickets?
Yes, sir.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put them down as pre-trials, with the tickets being dismissed upon payment of the fine.
Yes, sir.
But- I understand. You've already paid the fine, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you have an accident?
No, sir, what happened was, it was, raining, and because it's an older model car, sometimes, I should have inspected the car first before I had purchased it. But, the brakes didn't catch, and I guess the tires were a little too slick, and so it was, going 45, trying to get that to work, and, it had jumped the curb.
No. So where's the car now? Is it
I
gone?
have to get now,
Oh, it still runs?
Yes, sir, it's,
You got new tires on it?
yes, sir, brand new car.
All right, well, these two charges won't go on your record,
Yes, sir.
but use it as a learning experience, okay?
Yes, sir.
You're free to go.
This individual here, I can't get in contact with.
Did you have it yet?
Tiffany Gray.
No, ma'am.
Try.
I said, try.
Try this one? Okay. This one up here wanted to talk to Jay. So Jay is asking to put her on the next court date, and he'll be able to talk to her about it.
Yeah, I just suggest we give you that case, if that's okay with you, maybe some time, I think, I mean, I expect it's just a speeding.
That's fine, that's fine.
Instead of spending 30 minutes trying to get Zoom set up.
Yeah.
So, she'll call him tomorrow, so that she knows.
Yeah, I'm about to call her back and let her and get her Jay's number. He's going to contact her tomorrow, and then I'll give her next court date. That's fine.
That's fine.
And that's going to be October the 12th.
And the other two, I mean, you can get in touch.
I can't get in touch with this one, and I was just on this. Do you want to continue this or just?
Yes. Yes. And, hey, what's your name? Emery Green. Very nice to meet you. You got a good comrade here.
He's very good at work. He was very good. He just don't be telling stories of
Yeah, same class.
This is, I'm sorry. Oh, Judge, you can probably, this is like, for Robinson Rights.
Is it?
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
For some parents,
Where's the